Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. For anyone new to the channel, nice to see you here with us. I post anime what if videos either never heard before, or reboot into a more clear audio. I present to you all, what if Asta had Gojo's abilities? In this crossover scenario, Asta would become an incredibly formidable character, blending Gojo's techniques with his own anti-magic abilities. This combination would create a unique dynamic, allowing him to face even the most powerful foes in the Black Clover universe while dealing with the complexities of cursed spirits. Read and review please. The link of the story will be in the description down below. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe to see more anime what if stories. The sun rose over the rebuilt village, casting a warm, golden light that signaled a new day. The villagers went about their daily routines, their spirits uplifted by the sense of community and resilience that had emerged in the wake of past tragedies. At the heart of the village, the church stood as a beacon of hope and strength. Inside the church, Sister Lily was busy preparing breakfast for the orphans. Her gentle smile and kind demeanor brought comfort to the children, who looked up to her as a mother figure. "Alright, everyone, breakfast is ready," she called out, her voice filled with warmth. Asta and Yuno, now 15 years old, entered the dining hall, their presence commanding attention. The children looked up to them with admiration, inspired by their dedication and strength. As they sat down to eat, Asta's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Today's the day, Yuno," he said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. "We're finally going to the grimoire acceptance ceremony." Yuno nodded, his expression more reserved but equally determined. "Yes, it's time to receive our grimoires and take the first step toward becoming magic knights." Sister Lily approached them, her eyes filled with pride and concern. "You've both come so far. Remember to stay true to yourselves and never lose sight of what's important." Asta grinned, his six interconnected, azure irises gleaming with determination. "Don't worry, Sister Lily. We'll make you proud. And who knows, maybe one day you'll say yes and marry me." Sister Lily chuckled softly, shaking her head. "Asta, you know my answer hasn't changed. But I do believe in you and your dreams." As they prepared to leave, the children gathered around to wish them luck. "Go get him!" Asta and Yuno, one of the younger children, cheered, their eyes wide with admiration. Asta knelt down, ruffling the child's hair with a playful grin. "We'll be back with our grimoires, I promise." Yuno stood by, his expression softer as he looked at the children. "Take care of each other while we're gone. We'll bring back stories of our adventures." Sister Lily stepped forward, handing them each a small charm. "For protection," she said, her voice gentle. "Remember, no matter what happens, you always have a home here." With their hearts full of determination and dreams of becoming magic knights, Asta and Yuno set off on their short journey to the Grimoire Tower. The road ahead, though brief, was filled with eager anticipation. As they walked, Asta's excitement was palpable. "I can't wait to show everyone what we can do, Yuno." "We'll be the best magic knights ever," Yuno, ever composed, responded with a nod. "We'll make our mark, Asta. Together, nothing can stop us." As they continued, Asta's enthusiasm got the better of him, and he tripped over a small rock, sprawling onto the ground. Yuno couldn't help but chuckle at his friend's misfortune. "Looks like you're already making a mark, Asta." Asta quickly scrambled to his feet, brushing the dirt off his clothes with a huff. "Laugh it up, Yuno. Just you wait. I'll be the one laughing when I become the strongest magic knight." Yuno's eyes softened, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "I have no doubt, Asta." The bond between them had only grown stronger over the years, forged through hardship and shared aspirations. However, since Father Orsi's death, an invisible wall seemed to block their connection, leaving a lingering sense of distance. After a brief but lively journey, Asta and Yuno finally arrived at the towering structure that housed the grimoire acceptance ceremony. The grimoire tower stood tall and imposing, its ancient stone walls adorned with intricate carvings and mystical symbols. It exudes an aura of history and power, a fitting place for such a significant event. As they entered the tower, they were greeted by the sight of numerous other teenagers, all around their age, gathered in anticipation. The hall was filled with a buzz of excitement and nervous energy, as everyone awaited the moment that would change their lives forever. Asta looked around, his eyes wide with wonder. "Wow, look at all these people, Yuno. I can't believe we're finally here." Yuno nodded, his expression calm but focused. "This is just the beginning, Asta. We need to stay focused and do our best. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as teens exchanged excited whispers and nervous glances. Some were practicing spells, while others were simply trying to calm their nerves. The diversity of magic and personalities in the room was a testament to the vast potential that lay within each individual. As they mingled with the crowd, Asta and Yuno began to draw attention. Whispers started to spread as the other teens recognized Yuno. Many remembered him for his brutal methods in dealing with local criminals, and their expressions shifted to a mix of nervousness and judgment. "That's Yuno," one teen whispered, his voice barely audible. "He's the one who took down those bandits with his wind magic." "Yeah, I heard he was pretty ruthless," another added, eyeing Yuno warily. Yuno remained composed, his gaze steady as he met their stares. He knew that his actions had earned him a reputation, but he also knew that his intentions were always to protect the village. Asta, noticing the tension, placed a reassuring hand on Yuno's shoulder. "Ignore them, Yuno," Asta said, his voice filled with determination. "We're here to prove ourselves, not to worry about what others think." Yuno gave a small nod, appreciating his friend's support. "I know, Asta. Let's focus on getting our grimoires." They knew that their journey was just beginning, but with each other's support, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the minutes ticked by, the room grew quieter, the anticipation reaching its peak. The time had come for the grimoire acceptance ceremony to begin. Asta and Yuno stood side by side, ready to embrace their destinies and take the first step toward becoming magic knights. The hall fell silent as a distinguished figure stepped forward. Drawit, the master of the Grimoire Tower, commanded the room with his presence. His robes billowed slightly as he raised his hands to address the gathered teens, his voice resonating with authority and wisdom. "Welcome, young men and women. You each will begin walking down a new path starting today. I wish you faith, hope, and love. I am the master of this Grimoire Tower. We haven't had a wizard king from this area, nor have we had one achieve greatness by joining the Magic Knights. I sincerely wish that someone among you will become the Wizard King. Now, it is time for the awarding of the grimoires." As he spoke, the anticipation in the room grew. The massive shelves containing all the grimoires began to glow, and one by one, the grimoires descended from their places, floating gracefully through the air towards their new owners. Each teen eagerly reached out to accept their magical tome, their faces lighting up with excitement and wonder. Asta watched in awe as the grimoires moved gracefully through the air, his excitement reaching its peak. He couldn't help but bounce on the balls of his feet, eager to receive his own grimoire. The room was filled with gasps of admiration as each grimoire found its rightful owner. Yuno, standing tall and composed, extended his hand as a magnificent grimoire with a four-leaf clover emblem floated towards him. The room fell silent for a moment, recognizing the rarity and significance of such a grimoire. Whispers of admiration and envy spread through the crowd. Asta couldn't contain his excitement. "Wow, Yuno! That's amazing," he exclaimed, his voice filled with genuine joy for his friend. "You're going to be incredible," Yuno nodded, his eyes meeting Asta's with a look of mutual respect and determination. "Thanks, Asta. I know you will be too." As the last grimoire found its owner, Asta stood in the center of the room, his heart pounding. He looked up, expecting to see his grimoire making its way toward him. But nothing happened. The room grew quiet, and the expectant looks from the other teens turned to confusion and pity. Drawit's expression softened as he observed the scene. "Not to worry, young man. Sometimes, a grimoire finds its owner later in unexpected ways," he said, trying to offer reassurance. Asta's heart sank, but he refused to let disappointment take over. He clenched his fists, determination burning in his eyes. "I won't give up. I'll find my grimoire and prove myself, no matter what." Many of the other teenagers began to ridicule Asta, their voices echoing with sneers and laughter. "Did you see that? He didn't get a grimoire, what a loser. How does he expect to become a magic knight without a grimoire? Maybe he should just go back home." Asta stood tall, ignoring the jeers and taunts. His resolve only grew stronger in the face of their ridicule. He wouldn't let their words break his spirit. Instead, he would use them as fuel to prove himself. Yuno stepped forward, placing a hand on Asta's shoulder. "Don't listen to them, Asta. Your grimoire will come." "I know it." Asta glanced at Yuno, grateful for his friend's support. "Thanks, Yuno. I'll keep pushing forward, no matter what." Outside the Grimoire Tower, a sinister force began to gather, swirling with dark energy. The air grew heavy, and a chilling presence settled over the area. From the shadows, a cursed spirit with the appearance of a massive python began to take form. Its body was long and sinuous, covered in dark, scaled skin that seemed to absorb the light around it. The spirit's eyes glowed with a malevolent, eerie light, and its forked tongue flickered in and out, tasting the air. As the cursed spirit continued to materialize, the ground beneath it seemed to tremble in response to its presence. The cursed spirit's head, adorned with a crown of twisted, jagged horns, rose high, surveying its surroundings with an almost predatory grace. Each movement was deliberate and unervingly smooth, as if it were a hunter stalking its prey. The villagers near the Grimoire Tower began to feel the oppressive aura emanating from the cursed spirit. Fear and unease spread through the crowd as whispers of the dark presence reached those inside the tower. Little did they know that this sinister being would soon pose a significant threat to all who were present. As the cursed spirit's form solidified, it began to coil around the base of the tower, its intentions unknown but undoubtedly malicious. The atmosphere grew tense, the air crackling with anticipation of the impending confrontation. Inside the Grimoire Tower, Asta and Yuno's heightened senses picked up on the sinister presence outside. A sudden, chilling aura swept through the room, causing them both to tense up. They exchanged a quick glance, recognizing the urgency of the situation. Without wasting a moment, they excused themselves and swiftly exited the tower. As they stepped outside, they were met with the imposing sight of the massive python-like cursed spirit coiled around the base of the tower. Asta's eyes widened in shock. "What is that thing?" he exclaimed, his fists clenching as he prepared to fight it. Yuno, ever composed, observed the creature with steely determination. "It's a cursed spirit. We need to be careful." Despite the cursed spirit's intimidating presence, the locals couldn't see it. Only Asta and Yuno, with their heightened senses and unique abilities, were aware of the dark force lurking outside the tower. The cursed spirit's malevolent eyes locked onto Yuno, sensing his powerful magic and harboring a twisted envy. With a hissing roar, the spirit uncoiled and lunged at Yuno with terrifying speed. Its jaws opened wide, Yuno's reflexes kicked in, and he swiftly summoned a powerful gust of wind to deflect the attack. The force of the wind pushed the spirit back, but it quickly recovered, its eyes glowing with even greater fury. Asta stepped forward, his blue aura flaring up around him. "Yuno, we've got to work together to take this thing down," he shouted, determination burning in his unique azure irises. Yuno nodded, his wind magic swirling around him as he prepared for the next attack. "Right. Let's do this." Asta, the cursed spirit, undeterred, coiled its massive body and lunged at them once more. This time, Asta and Yuno were ready. With a coordinated effort, Yuno sent out a powerful wind tornado, the swirling vortex of air creating a barrier against the spirit's advance. Simultaneously, Asta summoned a potent ball of cursed energy, his unique eyes glowing with intensity as he hurled the energy at the spirit. The wind tornado and cursed energy ball collided with the cursed spirit, the combined force pushing it back and causing it to writhe in pain. The spirit's scales shimmered and cracked under the onslaught, its malevolent eyes flashing with rage. Enraged, the python-like cursed spirit lashed out with its massive tail, aiming to slap Asta away with its powerful strike. The force of the attack was immense, and the ground seemed to shake as the tail swung towards him, but Asta was ready. As the tail approached, he activated his newly unlocked ability, Infinity. A shimmering barrier of blue energy materialized around him, halting the cursed spirit's attack in its tracks. The tail collided with the barrier, creating a shockwave of energy, but Asta stood firm, unscathed by the onslaught. Asta's eyes, with their 6 interconnected, azure irises, gleamed with determination and focus. "You're not getting rid of me that easily," he declared. His voice steady and resolute, the cursed spirit hissed in frustration, unable to penetrate the barrier. Meanwhile, Yuno seized the opportunity to launch another powerful gust of wind, targeting the spirit's weakened scales. The combined efforts of Asta's infinity and Yuno's wind magic continued to wear down the cursed spirit. The villagers and other teens, still unaware of the true nature of the battle, watched in awe at the spectacle unfolding before them. The cursed spirit's envy grew exponentially as it continued to be thwarted by Asta and Yuno's combined efforts. Its malevolent eyes burned with rage as it turned its attention back to Yuno. Sensing the immense power within him, the spirit sought to crush its rival in a devastating display of force. With a hissing roar, the python-like cursed spirit unleashed a powerful gust of wind, strong enough to destroy entire towns. The force of the wind tore through the air, uprooting trees and sending debris flying. The sheer power of the attack was overwhelming, and it seemed as though nothing could stand in its path. Yuno braced himself, his wind magic swirling around him as he tried to counter the oncoming attack. But the cursed spirit's wind was far more potent, fueled by its envy and rage. Yuno struggled to hold his ground, his determination unwavering despite the odds. Seeing his friend in danger, Asta's resolve strengthened. He activated his infinity ability once more, creating a barrier to shield both himself and Yuno from the onslaught. The shimmering blue energy halted the powerful wind in its tracks, preventing it from reaching them. As the powerful gust dissipated, Asta stopped his infinity and channeled his cursed energy into his fist. His eyes glowed with determination as he leaped towards the python's head, aiming to deliver a powerful, cursed-enhanced punch. Just as Asta was about to strike, the python's tail unconsciously lashed out, moving with blinding speed. The tail struck Asta from the back, the impact sending him hurtling through the air. Asta crashed through the grimoire tower, the force of the blow creating a shockwave that echoed through the area. Yuno's eyes widened in shock as he watched Asta being launched through the tower. "Asta," he shouted, his voice filled with concern. He turned his attention back to the python, his wind magic swirling around him with renewed intensity. The cursed spirit, emboldened by its successful attack, turned its malevolent gaze back to Yuno. The battle was far from over, and Yuno knew he had to stay focused. He summoned a powerful gust of wind, aiming to keep the spirit at bay while he formulated a plan to help Asta. Inside the tower, debris and dust settled as Asta struggled to his feet, his body aching from the impact. Despite the pain, his determination remained unshaken. "I won't give up," he muttered to himself, clenching his fists. "I have to protect Yuno and everyone else." After saying this, a black grimoire with 5 leaf clovers and a sinister aura appeared in front of him. The grimoire opened by itself, revealing a handle within its pages. Asta reached out and grasped the handle, pulling it out to reveal a massive greatsword. The blade was mostly covered in dirt and scuff marks, giving it a rugged, battle-worn appearance. The blade and the hilt were separated from each other and connected by a fuller. The hilt appeared as the handle of a normal long sword, but the blade was huge and had a pointed tip while the base pointed inward, creating a distinct angle. The sight of the greatsword filled Asta with a renewed sense of purpose. He could feel the power emanating from the weapon, a tangible manifestation of his resolve. With the greatsword in hand, he made his way back to the battlefield, ready to face the cursed spirit and protect those he cared about. Yuno tried his best against the cursed spirit, launching powerful gusts of wind in an attempt to weaken it. However, the python's envy-fueled rage made it a relentless adversary. In a swift and calculated move, the python coiled its massive tail around Yuno's body, trapping him in a vice-like grip. The cursed spirit's eyes glowed with malevolence as it slowly began to crush Yuno, tightening its hold with each passing moment. Yuno struggled to break free, his wind magic faltering under the immense pressure. He could feel the crushing force squeezing the life out of him, and his vision began to blur. Desperation set in as he fought to breathe, knowing that his time was running out. Just as the python seemed poised to deliver the fatal blow, a determined shout pierced the air. "Yuno, hold on!" Asta's voice rang out with unwavering resolve. Asta dashed towards the cursed spirit with incredible speed, his massive greatsword in hand. The blade, covered in dirt and scuff marks, glinted ominously in the light. With a powerful swing, Asta brought the greatsword down upon the python's tail, severing it cleanly. The cursed spirit let out a deafening hiss of pain, its grip on Yuno loosening as the severed tail fell to the ground. Yuno gasped for air, his body aching but grateful for the timely intervention. He looked up to see Asta standing protectively over him, the greatsword at the ready. "Thanks, Asta," Yuno managed to say, his voice weak but filled with gratitude. Asta smiled at Yuno's gratitude, but his expression quickly turned serious as he faced the python-like cursed spirit. His determination was unwavering, and he knew that he had to end this battle once and for all. In an instant, Asta dashed towards the cursed spirit with incredible speed, his massive greatsword in hand. The blade, still covered in dirt and scuff marks, glinted ominously as he swung it with precision and power. With a swift and decisive motion, Asta brought the greatsword down upon the python's head, severing it cleanly. The cursed spirit let out a final, agonized hiss before its body began to disintegrate into a cloud of dark energy. The malevolent presence that had threatened them dissipated, leaving behind a sense of relief and victory. Yuno watched in awe as Asta stood victorious, his greatsword still at the ready. Just as Yuno was about to congratulate Asta, he noticed his friend's body sway, his strength finally giving out. Asta fell to the ground, unconscious from the intensity of the battle. Reacting quickly, Yuno summoned his wind magic to create a gentle cushion of air beneath Asta, softening his fall and ensuring he landed safely. Yuno knelt beside his friend, concern etched across his face. "You did it, Asta," Yuno whispered, his voice filled with gratitude and admiration. "Rest now. I'll take care of everything." The villagers and other teens, still unaware of the true nature of the battle, saw Yuno tending to Asta and began to approach, their curiosity and concern evident. Drawit, the master of the Grimoire Tower, stepped forward, his eyes filled with a mix of pride and astonishment at the bravery displayed by the two young men. "Let us ensure Asta is taken care of," Drawit said, his voice calm and reassuring. "He has shown incredible strength today, and he deserves our respect and support." As the villagers gathered around, Yuno carefully lifted Asta, using his wind magic to help carry his friend back to the safety of the tower. Far from the tower, hidden in the shadows, Revchi Salik observed everything that had transpired. His eyes narrowed as he watched the fierce battle between Asta, Yuno, and the cursed spirit. The display of power and determination left him in awe, and a hint of a smirk played on his lips. Revchi had been drawn to the Grimoire Tower out of curiosity, and what he had witnessed exceeded his expectations. The potential of these young fighters intrigued him, and he couldn't help but wonder how they might fit into his own plans. Revchi Salik was a tall and imposing figure, with a lean yet muscular build that spoke of both strength and agility. His sharp, angular features were accentuated by a thin, well-groomed beard that framed his face. His piercing, dark eyes held a glint of cunning and intelligence, hinting at the depth of his strategic mind. A long scar ran down the left side of his face, a testament to the many battles and conflicts he had faced. Dressed in a dark, flowing cloak that billowed behind him as he moved, Revchi exuded an air of mystery and danger. The cloak was adorned with intricate patterns and symbols, marking him as a seasoned and powerful mage. Beneath the cloak, he wore a fitted tunic and trousers, both in muted, dark colors that allowed him to blend seamlessly into the shadows. With a final glance at the scene, Revchi turned away, his cloak billowing behind him as he walked toward the next village. There was much to consider, and new opportunities to explore. His path was far from clear, but one thing was certain: the events of that day had set things in motion that would resonate far beyond the walls of the Grimoire Tower. The sun rose over the village, casting a warm, golden light that heralded a new day. After the intense battle with the cursed spirit and the discovery of his new grimoire and massive greatsword, Asta was more determined than ever to prepare for the upcoming Magic Night exam. Asta stood in a clearing near the edge of the village, his new greatsword in hand. The weapon was heavy and unwieldy, but he knew that mastering it would be crucial to his success. His body still ached from the battle, but his spirit remained unbroken. He could feel the power of the grimoire coursing through him, and he was ready to push himself to the limit. Asta began his training with a series of exercises to build his strength and stamina. He swung the greatsword with all his might, each strike echoing through the clearing as he practiced different techniques and forms. The weight of the weapon tested his endurance, but he refused to let it overwhelm him. Sweat poured down his face as he trained, his muscles burning with exertion. He knew that the Magic Night exam would be incredibly challenging, and he was determined to be ready for anything. With each swing of the greatsword, he focused on perfecting his form and increasing his speed. As Asta trained, he was joined by a few familiar faces from the village. Sister Lily, Yuno, and some of the other orphans came to offer their support and encouragement. Even though they couldn't see the cursed spirit during the battle, they had heard from Yuno on what transpired. Sister Lily approached Asta with a gentle smile. "Asta, remember to pace yourself. You don't want to overexert and hurt yourself." Asta paused for a moment, breathing heavily, and nodded. "I know, Sister Lily. But I have to give it my all. I need to be ready for the exam." He flashed a playful grin, wiping the sweat from his brow. "Besides, I need to make sure I impress you, Sister Lily. Maybe then you'll finally agree to marry me." Sister Lily chuckled softly, shaking her head. "Asta, you're as persistent as ever. You know my answer hasn't changed." Asta's smile widened, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Well, I can dream, can't I? Who knows? Maybe becoming the strongest Magic Knight will change your mind." Sister Lily placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, her expression warm. Keep dreaming, Asta. Just remember to stay focused and true to yourself. That's what matters most. Asta's playful demeanor softened, his determination shining through. I will, Sister Lily. I'll give it my all and make you proud. Yuno, who had been watching the exchange with a faint smile, stepped forward. All right, let's get back to training. We've got a lot of work to do, Asta laughed, giving Sister Lily a quick wink before turning back to his training. With his heart set on the upcoming Magic Night exam, he was ready to push himself to the limit. All the while keeping his playful spirit and unwavering determination. As Asta resumed his training, Sister Lily felt an unexpected warmth rise to her cheeks. She touched her face, realizing with surprise that she was blushing. Confusion washed over her as she tried to understand why Asta's playful wink had such an effect on her. She shook her head slightly, a gentle smile forming on her lips. What's gotten into me? She wondered aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. Sister Lily watched Asta with a mix of fondness and bemusement, appreciating his boundless energy and determination. Yuno, noticing Sister Lily's reaction, couldn't help but chuckle softly. Looks like Asta's charm is stronger than we thought. He teased, giving her a knowing look. Sister Lily's blush deepened, and she quickly composed herself. All right, you two. Back to training. The Magic Night exam isn't going to wait for you. Asta nodded at Sister Lily's encouragement and gripped his massive greatsword with determination. With all his might, he swung the sword towards the forest, channeling his newfound strength and energy. The impact was astonishing. A powerful shockwave erupted from the swing, slicing through the air and tearing through the dense forest. Trees snapped and fell like dominoes, creating a path of destruction that extended for 2 miles. The sheer force of the attack left everyone in stunned silence. Their mouths agape at the incredible display of power. Asta himself was shocked by the extent of the destruction. He stared at the aftermath, his eyes wide with disbelief. Whoa! I didn't realize I could do that, he muttered, a mix of awe and excitement in his voice. Sister Lily, Yuno, and the others watched in amazement, trying to process what they had just witnessed. Yuno, ever composed, managed a faint smile. Well, it looks like you've got the power part down. Now we just need to work on control. Asta turned to Yuno, a determined glint in his eyes. Yeah, you're right. I need to make sure I can control this power and use it effectively in the Magic Night exam. Sister Lily, still blushing slightly from Asta's earlier wink, couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and concern for him. Just be careful, Asta. Remember, power without control can be dangerous. Asta nodded, his resolve unwavering. I will, Sister Lily. I'll train harder and make sure I can control this power. I won't let anything stand in my way. 6 months later. 6 months had passed since the intense battle with the cursed spirit and the beginning of Asta's rigorous training. The day had finally arrived for Asta and Yuno to put their skills to the test at the Magic Night's entrance exam. The journey had been long and arduous, but their determination and hard work had brought them to this pivotal moment. Asta and Yuno arrived at the Magic Night's entrance exam venue, a grand and imposing structure that exuded an aura of power and prestige. The venue was bustling with activity as hopeful candidates from all over the kingdom gathered to showcase their abilities and earn a place among the Magic Knights. Asta looked around in awe, his excitement palpable. Wow, Yuno! Look at all these people. This place is incredible. Yuno, ever composed, nodded in agreement. It's impressive, but we need to stay focused. We're here to prove ourselves and earn our place among the Magic Knights. The venue was filled with candidates of various ages and backgrounds, each exuding confidence and determination. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as everyone prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. The presence of high-ranking Magic Knights, who would be evaluating the candidates, added to the sense of importance and gravity of the event. As the candidates gathered in the main hall, a flock of antibirds suddenly appeared, their presence adding an unexpected twist to the proceedings. The antibirds, known for targeting those with low magic power, began to gang up on Asta, swooping down with sharp beaks and claws. Asta, undeterred, quickly lifted his infinity ability, creating a shimmering blue barrier around himself. The antibirds' attacks were halted in mid-air, unable to penetrate the protective barrier. The birds squawked in frustration, flapping their wings as they tried in vain to get closer to Asta. The other candidates watched in amazement, their eyes widening at the sight of Asta's impressive defense. Whispers of admiration and curiosity spread through the crowd as they realized that Asta's unique abilities set him apart from the rest, standing nearby. Observed the scene with a faint smile. "Nice work, Asta," he said, his voice filled with pride. "You've got them under control," Asta grinned, his eyes sparkling with determination. "Thanks, I won't let anything get in my way." The anti-birds, realizing their efforts were futile, eventually dispersed, leaving Asta standing confidently with his infinity barrier still intact. The display of his abilities not only showcased his strength but also served as a reminder of his unwavering resolve. Among the high-ranking Magic Knights observing the candidates, William Vengeance, the captain of the Golden Dawn, watched Asta with amazement. His keen eyes took in the unique display of power and the potential it held. "Interesting," he murmured to himself, a thoughtful expression on his face. "This boy has something special." Just then, another imposing figure appeared beside William. It was Yami Sukahiro, the captain of the Black Bulls, known for his rugged appearance and laid-back demeanor. Yami's eyes narrowed as he observed Asta's abilities, a hint of interest flickering in his gaze. Well, what do we have here?" he muttered, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. This kid might just be worth keeping an eye on. The reason for Yami's interest was clear. The anti-birds, known for targeting those with low magic power, were swarming around Asta, yet they couldn't get close to him due to his infinity barrier. This puzzled Yami, as Asta's display of power contradicted the typical behavior of the anti-birds. William Vengeance, standing beside Yami, nodded in agreement. "This boy's abilities are quite unique. It's rare to see such a powerful defense against the anti-birds." Yami crossed his arms, his smirk widening. "Yeah, this kid's got potential. Let's see how he handles the rest of the exam." The interest of two prominent captains in Asta's abilities added an extra layer of significance to the young candidate's performance. It hinted at the possibility of future challenges and opportunities, and a path that could lead Asta to greatness. As the candidates gathered for the Magic Knights entrance exam, the venue buzzed with anticipation and excitement. The exams had not yet started, and Asta found himself wandering the grounds, taking in the sights and sounds of the bustling atmosphere. Candidates from all corners of the kingdom were mingling, exchanging nervous conversations, and mentally preparing for the challenges that awaited them. Asta, ever the curious and energetic spirit, couldn't help but explore every nook and cranny of the venue. His excitement was palpable, and he marveled at the grandeur of the place. "This is amazing. I can't believe we're finally here," he muttered to himself, his eyes wide with wonder. As Asta walked through a particularly crowded area, he suddenly felt a solid presence directly in his path. Before he could react, he bumped into a towering figure who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. The impact was surprising, and Asta stumbled back, looking up to see who he had collided with. Standing before him was none other than Yami Sukahiro, the captain of the Black Bulls. Yami had purposely positioned himself in Asta's path, his imposing figure blocking the way. A mischievous grin played on his lips as he observed the young candidate. "Watch where you're going, kid," Yami said in his gruff yet laid-back tone. His piercing eyes studied Asta with a mixture of amusement and curiosity. Then his expression suddenly hardened, his eyes narrowing as a dark, menacing aura surrounded him. "You better be more careful," he growled, his voice low and threatening. "This isn't a game, and if you get in my way, you might end up dead." Before Asta could respond, Yami reached out and grabbed Asta's head with his hand, squeezing it tightly. Asta winced in pain, the pressure nearly unbearable. But Asta's spirit was not so easily broken. Summoning every ounce of his strength, he kicked Yami in the stomach with all his might. The force of the kick was surprising, and it launched Yami backward, sending him crashing into the nearest wall. Asta stumbled back, breathing heavily, his determination unwavering despite the pain. Yami, slightly dazed but impressed, pushed himself up from the wall and let out a hearty laugh. "Not bad, kid. Not bad at all. You've got some fight in you." Asta, still catching his breath, looked up at Yami with a mixture of determination and defiance. "I won't back down, sir. I'm here to prove myself and become a Magic Knight." Yami's intense gaze remained fixed on Asta, his intimidating presence almost suffocating. The hint of a smirk returned to his lips, but it carried a sinister edge. "We'll see about that, kid. Just remember, it's not all about power. Control and determination matter just as much. Think you can handle that? Asta nodded, his resolve stronger than ever. I will, sir. I'll give it my all. Yami's gaze softened slightly as he gave Asta a nod of approval, though his intimidating presence lingered. Good luck, kid. I'll be watching. With that, Yami turned and walked away, leaving Asta to process the unexpected encounter. The words of the formidable captain echoed in his mind, fueling his determination to succeed in the Magic Knight's entrance exam. Finral Rollicase, a young man with light brown hair, and Gordon Agrippa, a tall and silent figure with pale skin and dark hair, watched in astonishment. Finral's eyes were wide with terror, his usual mischievous grin nowhere to be seen. Did you see that, Gordon? He whispered, his voice trembling slightly. That kid just launched Captain Yami into a wall. He's got some serious strength. Gordon nodded slowly, his eyes filled with curiosity and intrigue. Yes, he replied in a hushed tone. He's impressive. The two Black Bulls members exchanged a knowing look before slipping back into the shadows, eager to see what else Asta was capable of. The encounter had left a lasting impression on them, and they couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation for the upcoming Magic Knight's entrance exam. Standing on a raised platform, William Vengeance, the captain of the Golden Dawn and one of the most respected Magic Knights, addressed the crowd. His presence commanded attention, and the examinees fell silent as he began to speak. Thank you for waiting, invited examinees, William said, his voice calm and authoritative. I am going to be in charge of the exams this time. The crowd erupted in cheers, their excitement palpable. William's reputation as a powerful and fair leader gave them confidence that the exams would be both challenging and rewarding. With a graceful movement, William raised his hand and called out a spell, Magic Tree Descend. In response to William's spell, a massive, glowing tree began to materialize in the sky above the hall. Its branches stretched out like a canopy, casting a warm, ethereal light over the candidates. The tree's roots extended into the sky, creating a network of magical energy that pulsed with life. As the tree descended, it began to produce countless brooms, each one glowing with the same golden hue as the tree. The brooms floated gently down to the examinees, who watched in awe as they hovered in midair, ready to be used. William Vengeance continued, These brooms will be used for the first test. Your task is to ride them and demonstrate your magical control. Show us your balance, precision, and creativity as you navigate through the course. The candidates mounted, their nerves and excitement heightened by the presence of the magic tree and the floating brooms. Each examinee was given a chance to showcase their abilities, using the brooms to navigate through an intricate aerial course filled with obstacles and challenges. Asta and Yuno exchanged determined glances, ready to prove themselves. Yuno was the first to step forward, his wind magic swirling around him with precision and grace. He mounted a broom and took to the sky, but instead of simply sitting, he showcased his extraordinary control by standing on top of the broom handle. His balance was impeccable as he floated in the air, the broom handle firmly under his feet. Yuno then showed off his exceptional skills by using his wind magic to accelerate sharply into the air. He soared higher and higher, the broom responding to his every command with perfect precision. With a burst of speed, Yuno went straight into a cloud, disappearing from sight for a moment. Then, in a majestic display of control and elegance, he emerged from the other side, the wind swirling around him in a dazzling dance. The crowd watched in awe, their cheers and applause echoing through the hall. Yuno's performance was nothing short of spectacular, showcasing not only his control and balance but also his creativity and mastery of wind magic. The audience was captivated by the spectacle, and the admiration for Yuno's abilities was evident in their expressions. After Yuno's impressive display, Asta mounted the broom, his heart pounding with determination. Asta tried to pour his cursed energy into the broom, but with his 6 eyes, he noticed that it wasn't doing anything. The broom remained motionless, unaffected by his cursed energy. Undeterred, Asta decided to take a different approach. He applied cursed energy not only to the broom but also to the space around him. Slowly, the broom began to lift off the ground, seeming to float effortlessly. Asta lectured to himself, analyzing the mechanics of his abilities. If my cursed energy is negative and the surrounding is also negative, the broom would be repelled against each other, Asta muttered under his breath, his 6 eyes observing the intricate flow of energy around him. Combine that with my infinity, and I can stabilize myself in the air with the broom. With this realization, Asta focused his cursed energy, creating a delicate balance that allowed him to control the broom's movement. The broom hovered steadily in the air, responding to Asta's commands as he navigated through the course. His unique approach to using cursed energy and infinity to manipulate the broom left the audience in awe. Then, in a daring move, Asta stopped himself midair and got off the broom, floating effortlessly alongside it. His theory was proven correct. By applying cursed energy to both the broom and the surrounding space, he could stabilize himself in the air even without direct contact with the broom. The crowd watched in astonishment as Asta floated in the air, his determination and ingenuity on full display. The examinees and Magic Knight's captains couldn't help but be impressed by his creative use of his ability to think outside the box. After a few moments, Asta descended gracefully to the ground, his heart pounding with excitement. He had successfully demonstrated his unique abilities, earning the admiration and respect of those watching. The squad captains expressed their amazement at Asta's abilities, their faces reflecting a mixture of intrigue and admiration. William Vengeance nodded thoughtfully, his gaze fixed on Asta. This boy has demonstrated exceptional control and creativity. His approach to using cursed energy is unlike anything I've seen. Yami Sukahiro, still smirking from their earlier encounter, crossed his arms and let out a low chuckle. That kid's got guts, and he's not afraid to show it. I like that. Jack the Ripper, another captain with a keen eye for talent, grinned widely. He's got a unique style. It'll be interesting to see how he handles the rest of the exam. Nozel Silva, however, looked sternly at Asta. He recognized the nature of cursed energy and did not approve of such power. His disapproval was evident in his expression, a reminder of the potential dangers and unpredictability associated with cursed energy. Feeling a deep sense of resentment towards Asta, Nozel couldn't hide his disapproval. With the first test complete, the candidates prepared for the next challenge. The anticipation in the hall was palpable as they gathered before a massive, solid wall that towered over them. The task was simple: break through the wall using their magical abilities. Yuno stepped forward, his calm demeanor belying the intensity of his focus. He raised his hand, and the air around him began to swirl with increasing speed. With a precise motion, Yuno compressed the air into a dense ball of concentrated energy. Taking aim at the wall, he hurled the airball with incredible force. The airball struck the wall with a thunderous impact, shattering it into countless pieces. The path was cleared, and the fragments of the wall lay scattered on the ground. Asta stepped forward, his mind racing with determination. He decided to use a new technique he had been developing, Cursed Technique, Blue. He knew that this technique wouldn't just break the wall, it would compress it into a dense ball of stone. Channeling his cursed energy, Asta focused on the wall and activated the technique. As expected, the cursed energy created a powerful gravitational pull, drawing the wall towards it. The wall began to compress, the stone and debris being pulled together into a dense ball of solid stone. Asta watched with satisfaction as the wall was compressed into a compact sphere, the raw power of the technique evident in the result. He had anticipated this outcome, and his precise control over the cursed energy had achieved the desired effect. The crowd, including the Magic Knight's captains, watched in awe. The examinees were amazed by Asta's unconventional approach and the sheer power of his technique. The captains exchanged impressed glances, recognizing the potential and creativity in Asta's abilities. The Magic Knight's entrance exam continued with a series of challenges designed to test the candidates' versatility and skills. Asta and Yuno faced each challenge head-on, determined to prove themselves worthy of becoming Magic Knights. The first challenge required the candidates to strike a moving target with a stone that needed magic to lift. Yuno, with his exceptional control over wind magic, effortlessly lifted the stone and aimed it at the target. With a swift motion, he propelled the stone forward, striking the target with precision. The crowd cheered as Yuno completed the challenge with ease. Asta, using his cursed energy, focused on the stone and lifted it with sheer force. His 6 eyes allowed him to track the target's movements with incredible accuracy. With a powerful throw, he struck the moving target, showcasing his strength and control. The audience watched in amazement as Asta's unique abilities shone through once again. The next challenge tested the candidates' creativity and magical prowess through creation magic. Yuno, harnessing the power of his wind magic, created a stunning sculpture of a majestic eagle. The intricate details and the lifelike appearance of the sculpture left the crowd in awe. Yuno's creation demonstrated his artistic skills and mastery of wind magic. Asta, on the other hand, struggled with the creation magic challenge. Despite his best efforts, his abilities were not suited for this type of magic. He attempted to use his infinity barrier to manipulate the surrounding materials, but the result was far from what he had envisioned. The audience watched as Asta's creation fell short, and he realized that creation magic was not his specialty. The final challenge focused on support magic, requiring the candidates to provide aid and assistance using their abilities. Yuno, with his wind magic, created a gentle breeze that healed and rejuvenated the plants in the area. The plants bloomed and flourished under his care, showcasing his ability to support and nurture life. Asta, once again, found himself struggling with the support magic challenge. He attempted to use his cursed energy to create a protective barrier around a group of plants. While the barrier did offer some protection, it lacked the healing properties that the challenge required. The audience could see that support magic was not Asta's strong suit. Asta and Yuno passed some challenges with flying colors. But while Yuno excelled in all areas, Asta's shortcomings in creation and support magic were evident. Despite these setbacks, Asta's determination and unique abilities continued to set him apart from the other candidates: William Vengeance, Yami Sukahiro, Jack the Ripper, Charlotte Roseley, and the rest of the squad captains except the stern Nozel Silva acknowledged Asta and Yuno's remarkable skills and potential. The anticipation for the final selection grew as the candidates prepared for the last stage of the exam.